Welcome once again to Business and Leisure, and right now we usher in BizWatch, the business section. BNL was recently invited to cover a small and intimate concert held at the St. Scholastica's College in Manila. Ordinarily, this would not have created much of a ripple until we found out who was behind this concert of extraordinary musical talents, and the group behind this is called Sistemang Pilipino. One of the founders of this movement is Ms. Lian Sala, who gave us some background on Sistemang Pilipino.
Sistemang Pilipino is inspired by a movement that started in Venezuela almost 40 years ago, known as El Sistema, a program for social action through music, where they provide free music instruction or accessible music instruction to children from underserved and at-risk communities. I first saw a documentary about this in October 2009, and I saw that this could be a very powerful tool here in the Philippines for our children and youth. So that's how I first heard about it, and since then I've been building the groundwork and talking to people in Cebu. And we've been operating for 1 year now, after 5 years of preparation work.
5 years of brainstorming, 5 years of inspired and dedicated work led to the formation of a core group of socially motivated people, many of whom have the enlightenment on music in their being. As Lian hinted, music is the most positive, the most gentle catalyst that can spur change, that can plant the seed of transformation, even where the soil has dried up from sheer misfortune and loss of hope.
The beneficiaries of these concerts, we have two communities in Cebu. We have SOS Children's Village. It's an orphanage in Cebu. It's a worldwide orphanage, and we have one in Cebu. And we have a public school, Zapatera Elementary School. Also, during the summer, we have children from a depressed barangay called Ermita. We have children from Barangay Ermita. So that's all in all 3 communities in 2 sites.
So one fine Saturday afternoon, some of the most gifted and dedicated disciples of music came on stage to perform for the nuns of the St. Scholastica and some friends.
We call them our Sistemang Pilipino faculty trio. So what brings them together is their love for music and sharing this with children and with communities. So I'll start from left to right. We have Regina on the violin. She just completed her studies a few months ago at Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, where she majored in violin performance. And she's also the granddaughter of the National Artist for Composition, Antonino Buenaventura. So that's Regina. Her grandmother was also a violinist, Rizalina Buenaventura, who was her first teacher. Yeah. And then we have Giovanni Tabada. He's program director for Sistemang Pilipino. He began as a scholar at the Salvador and Pilar Sala Foundation as a young teenager, and he became proficient at bass and got to study at the Royal Conservatory of The Hague in the Netherlands, where he completed his bachelor's and master's degrees in bass performance with distinction. As Sister Placid mentioned earlier, so Miracle has trained under the ABRSM method, and she's also a journalist for the Mindanao Times, the Mindanao Observer. So Mira teaches piano, and she also teaches violin at the Romano Studio in Dipolog.
The violins hummed beautifully and the fingers deftly tiptoed oh so gently on the piano bars to the delight of the small audience. There was more rapture as Tonet sang beautiful Visayan songs. The Sistemang Pilipino Children's Choir at the SOS Village in Cebu is one of the most socially relevant programs of this movement. After only 1 year in operation, this group has already given hope to many underprivileged children who have found solace and inspiration in music, and who have channeled their frustrations and anger to more fulfilling endeavors through the gift of music, like this young girl.
So the music program gave her a way to release that anger without hurting anybody or herself. So when she'd get upset, she would start to play the violin or the piano. And not only that, as you saw, she's learning to coach her peers, including her sister, whom she couldn't possibly live in the same house with a few months ago.
Like this young girl, Aurelio, who is in charge of fund development at Sistemang Pilipino, was inspired to join the movement, even as he was already preparing to leave for Africa for more social work.
This was what inspired me to join Sistemang Pilipino, the possibility of being able to transform the lives of these children, to give meaning to their lives. No? So this is why until now, after a year, more than a year actually, I am still with them. It's very difficult because especially for my work, which is fund development, it's very difficult to look for funds, no? But I'm sure we will find it because the aim of this, the vision of Sistemang Pilipino is really something very, very beautiful.
And program-wise, so it can be replicated in other parts of the country, not necessarily under us, but in consultation with us if they want. What we envision in the future is that there are independent associations, programs for Sistema that come together as one association, where the children come together once or twice a year to play. This is a very powerful sign of unity that brings communities together and working towards a common goal.
And as the afternoon of music came to an end and the grateful applause had died down, the nuns of the St. Scholastica's College continued to sing praises for the group that brought an afternoon of joy and music to their halls.
This land about it, we have to multiply the performances all over the country.
That hope is shared by many. But for those who live in Cebu, the next opportunity is just around the corner.
For those of you who live in Cebu, we have an end of summer concert on May 31, which we will announce on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Sistemang Pilipino, and our website, sistemangpilipino.org.
Music is really viewed as an agent of transformation. While it is meant to give us listeners so much pleasure, Sistemang Pilipino has successfully used it to transform the lives of otherwise unfortunate or marginalized young people who eventually realize that they have God-given talents in the field of music that they can use not only for others to appreciate, but also to enrich themselves and find their way back to society. This movement started in Cebu. We hope it will find its way to other cities and provinces as well, as flourish to become a nationwide movement.